Protected by Chesil Beach, Fleet Lagoon is home to the only managed colony of nesting moot swans in the world. The swanery was established by Benedictine monks who built a monastery at Abbotsbury in the 11th century. The monks farmed the swans to produce food for their lavish banquets. The monastery was dissolved in 1539, since when it has been under the stewardship of Gloucester Estates, and today Abbotsbury Swanery is a major tourist attraction. This is what the people have come to see, upwards of 600 free-flying swans at any one time. April is the time to come and see the swans nesting, and as you wander around the 2-acre site, pairs of birds can be seen round every corner. The majority of birds nest in the same spot and with the same partner year in and year out. Up to 6 eggs are laid at 2-day intervals, and when the last egg is laid, a 35-day period of incubation begins, during which time the eggs are regularly turned. Eggs have to be maintained at the right temperature, and although the pen may occasionally leave the nest, it is not long before she returns. Swans were attracted to this area in the first place due to the abundant amount of eelgrass available. This dies back at the beginning of the year, so the birds are given wheat as a supplementary diet. Feeding takes place twice a day, and visitors are encouraged to help. Some of the smarter birds have discovered that they can help themselves. We return to the swanery at the end of May. Large numbers of birds still collect on the fleet, waiting to be fed. But this time, we are more interested to see if there are any hatchlings about. Sure enough, we've soon seen 2 hatchlings, probably only a day or 2 old, and another egg shows signs that it won't be long before a 3rd hatchling arrives and snuggles up to its mother like this one. All hatchlings in a clutch should emerge within 24 hours, and they make an appealing sight as they nestle under their mother's wing. This hatchling only just escapes getting squashed, and having managed to wriggle free, looks back disapprovingly at Mum. Cygnets normally take to the water within 3 days of hatching, and there are a plentiful supply of water trays provided with a menu of grass for the cygnets to eat. This proud mum takes to the water to show off her new brood. nests are now deserted and only an empty shell remains. It is July and we have returned to Abbotsbury to see how the cygnets are getting on. But first we admire this swan in classical pose. The first cygnet we see has decided to leave its parents and go exploring by itself. This cygnet has also strayed from its parents, and the defensive instinct of other swans caused them to react with aggression. Other cygnets seem quite happy to be alone. It is not surprising that with so many families of birds crammed into a small area, territorial disputes erupt. When this happens, disadvantaged birds are put into pens to protect them from more aggressive swans. Grass cuttings are fed to the swans to simulate the eelgrass that they will find in the wild. The cygnets are now getting quite large, and their wings are just starting to develop. October. The swans are spread far and wide across the fleet, and trees are beginning to change colour. The cygnets are now nearly fully grown, and their wings are developing nicely. These young birds have left their mum and dad and are quite capable of making their own way in the world. Feeding no longer takes place to encourage the birds to forage for their own food. The young birds are almost as big as their parents, and some of them are ready to flex their wings. The holding pens are now deserted and their occupants released onto the fleet. The only sign that swans were once here is a lone feather. There is still some new life about, as these black swans, which came originally from New Zealand, can breed at any time, and this pair have just one cygnet to look after.